Hi everyone, and welcome back to Hearing It Out Loud. We have Sacha Fortuné with us, the author of Climbing the Walls, and we're hoping to do an interactive reading for this very interesting series. And I'm going to pass it on to Sasha to tell us a little bit about what we're going to be reading today.
Okay, sure. Hi, everyone. So, in Climbing the Walls, which is the first book in the Hot and Cold series, up to this point, we've met the two main characters, Chris and Nicole, and we got some insight into their marriage. Chris appears to be the perfect dad, perfect husband, and everything. And Nicole, she seems to be struggling a little bit. So, from each perspective, they've each mentioned Darren, who's Nicole's boss, but he hasn't yet entered until this point where we're about to begin. So the seat is at their office at Sunrise Enterprises, and we begin. Nicole, 16th of October.
Morning.
Mm-hmm, I reply, glancing up absently from my computer.
Nick,
Darren leans against the doorway to my office. Sighing, I push down the screen of my laptop and fold my arms. Good morning, Darren.
much better.
He throws me a flashy grin that salvages his hard, lean looks.
Somehow, I doubt that's your article you're working on.
I finished my article. I reach over to the printer tray. Voila,
Messy.
he replies, snatching the pages. His eyes scan the words.
Well,
Well, I hate when anyone reads my work in front of me, but it's 10 times worse when it's your boss.
would you hush?
He murmurs.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Darren isn't really classically good looking, yet somehow ends up with a throng of female admirers. I guess he has what the French call je ne sais quoi. Plus, he looks pretty good in a suit and rakes in a splendid salary. He's a downright prick half the time, but I've gotten used to it. At the tender age of 22, he brought out his own weekly magazine, which has grown into a full fledged empire of brilliance and accuracy. We try to minimize the sensationalized, gory headlines and include more human interest stories than our competitors. He's also brought a few other small business ventures under the wing of Sunrise Enterprises, though the magazine is the claim to fame and still reigns as its centerpiece. At 36, he is the youngest editor in chief of a prominent media house in the country. Apart from my articles I write, I also work on the layout, using some graphic work and organizational skills to know what works best where, and overseeing all the sections to pull it together. It's tough, but I love it. Darren gives me enough structure and guidance for support and more than enough leeway to run with my own ideas.
It's good.
Darren smiles.
Terrific. Considering you've worked on it a total of maybe 20 minutes?
I lower my eyes, annoyed. It got all the due time, proofreading, reference checking, everything as it should.
Doesn't seem so.
He runs a hand over his barely bare hair. I shake my head, agitated. I knew there was something kind of off. I should have focused more on her childhood, brought out he sniggers.
I love it when you get all insecure.
You prick, I say, as he lets the papers flutter to my desk. He grins, and laughter lines crease around his eyes as he drapes his gaze over me, fondly and amused.
Serves you right, focusing on your novel instead of the work I'm paying you to do.
I worked my ass off on that article.
I was wondering where it disappeared to.
He smirked, sitting down in the chair on the opposite side of my desk.
Actually, I'm aware your ass is still there and firmly in place, a fact that I'm sure doesn't elude your husband.
He pauses.
How is Chris?
He's fine. I flip open my computer, my fingers leaping across the keyboard. Bitch Broken has been flowing out of me, a chilling catharsis of a chunk of real life inspiration from sexual encounters during my campus slut days, cloaked in a psychological thriller.
Define fine.
Fine equals still my sexy, loving, adorable husband. How's Louisa?
Still my sexy, loving, adorable wife.
And the kids?
Caddy's an angel. Jordan and Cameron have pains in my ass currently. They've been lobbying for us to build a pool.
You can afford it, I retort, knowing he hates when I mention money. Louisa manages the household finances, buying everything her husband and their three kids could possibly desire. All Darren cares about is Sunrise's reputation and that everything gets done on time.
Sure, but no one can swim, and Caddy's barely 3. We can't watch her every second. Plus, we don't really have the space. But their attention spans are the length of a toothpick. Today they want a pool, tomorrow God alone knows. You'll see when your kids get older.
Well, I grin. Nikita seems to have found her life partner. She just got skipped agreed. There's zero jealousy over Kai. And when she wants something, she's usually already considered it for ages.
Geez, is she 4 or 40?
Closer to 40, I chuckle. I wish she were more like kids her age at times. It's hard to keep up. But she's such a sweet kid,
So,
he says next.
I see your kids every now and again at the office, but I have to meet your husband.
I'm sorry, you know how hectic like life gets.
I'm giving you tomorrow afternoon off so you can relax. And then later we can have dinner. You, Chris, Louisa, and me. My treat.
I've managed to avoid this for 6 years, but suddenly we're at this junction. I don't know how or why to back up. It's short notice, and Chris is busy with a new work project.
Somehow, I doubt he's quite as caught up in his project as you are in yours.
Darren grins wickedly. I narrow my eyes at that. Whatever. I'll ask him, no promises.
Let me know by tonight so I can make reservations. I'll leave you to get back to your novel.
At the door, he turns.
Nick, I know I'm your boss, but I consider you a close friend. And I can't help but notice that recently you've been stressed. I'm worried.
I know, I admit. It's everything and nothing, just usual family drama, nothing serious, but I'm fine now.
You would tell me if you had a problem, though. I mean, I would trust you. I hope that's mutual. You can always talk to me.
I will, if and when I need to.
Promise?
Promise, I insist.
So, why exactly don't you want Chris to meet me?
My laughter tumbles out hollowly. It's not that.
I've always gotten that impression.
Well, it's a faulty one, I say firmly.
Okay, then. I'll call you tonight to find out the verdict. Don't sprain your finger. Okay, so that was a very interesting episode. Sasha, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, so here we see Darren's and Nicole's relationship at the office, and clearly he's a little inappropriate, mentioning his employee's ass and so on, but they get along, and she clearly adores him, and she looks up to him. So now Darren and Chris are finally about to meet, and later as they talk and they're getting ready, as Nicole and Chris are getting ready, Chris expresses that he's a little concerned. He's wondering what was behind the sudden invitation because they've been working together for 6 years. But he's also somewhat looking forward to finally meeting Nicole's boss because he doesn't usually meet her friends, although she knows his friends. So now we're going to jump into the next part.
So we have Nicole's episode here, and let's get started.
Sure. Nicole.
Well, that's a good short deal, right? God, you people bleed folks dry, raking it in by the millions for 30 seconds on television.
Darren says, chuckling. Chris laughs uneasily.
You'd be surprised how much work goes into 30 seconds. The planning, the drawing board meetings, the artists, the presentations, the videography. It's ridiculous. But still, a hefty sum nevertheless, I suppose.
Chris swallows a gulp of his scotch on the rocks. Since Louisa's hurried departure less than 15 minutes into the meal, I've seen Chris ingest glass after glass of pure alcohol. I hope he's aware that I'm driving home, although we came in his Peugeot. Darren and Louisa's babysitter called because she was feeling ill, so Louisa rushed home. I'm sure it's nothing much. That girl is so psychosomatic. I hope she doesn't expect to be paid in full for the half hour she worked. Anyway, I better go. Pleasure to meet you, Chris, and Nicole, who I've been hearing so much about. And with a flash of dark, blondish brown hair and dangling earrings, she was gone. Then, minutes later, Darren delved into work talk with Chris, ignorant of the fact that my husband is not an alcoholic, despite the current glazed look in his eye and the multiple empty glasses on the table.
I never really knew much about the advertising business. I've always wondered. It's interesting.
Darren says.
I guess when
Chris slews, realizing the strange feeling of a heavy, furling tongue and clears his throat.
it's been a few years, it isn't really as interesting. I'm sure you feel so about your job. Oh no, I love it. My career is my life.
Darren objects.
Something new every day. I wish I worked more in the open though. The journalists that hunt out stories?
He grins rakishly, his eyes on me.
Like your beautiful wife here, one of our finest, fine indeed. My star girl, and what a star girl she is. I'm very proud of her.
He pauses.
Even if she does tend to mix priorities at work sometimes.
Fury glimmers through my body. I only do personal work after entirely completing and verifying my official work, Darren, and you know that. I don't know why you would even say something like that.
Fiery little thing, isn't she?
Darren chuckles, raising his glass.
I was joking, dear. But I am constantly in the presence of greatness, enduring minor scuffles sorry. Enduring minor scuffles is worth knocking elbows with a celebrity.
Yeah, although no one knows and my fans think I'm a man.
That's the best kind of fame. You'll never stumble out on your doorstep at 2 a.m. to find camera bulbs flashing in your face.
I know. I eye Chris as he swallows another mouthful of scotch. Someone's cell phone vibrates loudly, and Darren and I both fumble for our phones.
Me.
He says with a rueful grin, glancing at the number.
Sorry, I should take this.
He glances around the posh, plush carpeted, chandeliered room.
Be right back. Excuse me.
As Darren heads towards the lobby, I glare at Chris. I hope you don't expect me to be holding your head over the toilet tonight.
Hmm,
He looks up, grinning affably.
what?
You don't drink, Chris. What the hell's the matter with you?
I'm just having fun, Nick. And Darren's picking up the tab.
And that's why you're drinking yourself into oblivion?
I just had a couple of drinks.
Yeah, a couple dozen, I spit out. You'll end up just like your father. I bite my lip, remembering that a few days ago our marriage was just as on the rocks as the scotch he just finished.
My dad's not an alcoholic.
Depends on your definition. He drinks all the time. Chris laughs, his glassy eyes alight.
He doesn't have a problem. He's a good drunk. I mean, there are bad drunks who beat their wives or fall asleep at the wheel. I'm a good drunk too, ain't I? Guess I inherited something from him after all.
His smile is watery. I don't like you like this.
Why don't you blame your wonderful boss, Nick?
What? Darren hasn't done anything.
That's right. Blame Chris. Stick up for Dad.
He stands, stumbling a bit.
Nick, star girl. I'll be right back, okay?
Where are you going?
To get rid of the alcohol I just ingested.
He passes behind my chair and leans to kiss me sloppily on the forehead.
Bye.
You're so wasted, I mumble. I pick up a half glass of tequila and something that Chris had abandoned before the scotch.
Starting up where Chris left off.
Darren slides into his seat. This night is going terribly, Darren. He's not usually like this, you know. I don't know what's up with him tonight.
I suppose I must have contributed to it though. Asking about his job? I didn't mean to be such a prick.
You weren't.
Not to you. You're used to me being an ass. He's not, so he probably just took me too seriously. Where'd he go anyway?
Bathroom. I nod in the direction which he left.
Sure about that?
Darren points.
Bathroom's that way.
So what's.
Parking lot.
He leaps up, offering a hand.
Your husband's too drunk to drive home, sweetie. Come on.
I don't believe this.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening in. And I hope you loved this recording, even with a few glitches here and there. Um, and yes, please read the Heart and Cold series that is coming out on the Saga Fiction app. It's a very interesting, very dramatic read for everyone. And if you like drama, this is the place to be. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you, Sasha, for doing this.
Oh, thank you.